Yeah, exactly. I like physics, but I despise math.
I like
Why is
physics
that?
more for those.
Math. Who likes math? Apart from the math teachers. Do math teachers even like math?
We do. Like, and I ended up on math because I couldn't pick a single science. I liked all the sciences minus chemistry, but that I think was the teacher's.
I love astronomy and physics.
Astronomy, geology, biology, physics,
I don't love biology.
earth science. I had all of them in college except chemistry. Okay. All right, guys. So yesterday on Canvas you had a kind of it was called a quiz. That I created that quiz on Canvas the first year when we were remote. It was the COVID quiz for my honors pre-cal class, largely unmodified. And it was 18 questions, but here's one thing. Tell me 5 questions about that one thing. The purpose of that feedback, which you should have gotten the answers back right away when you tried them, is to give you feedback for this thing called the district assessment. You will have the district assessment. They keep changing every year how they're going to assess you. It's the new one again. This time, like progress checks, didn't count. You guys didn't care, so you put no effort into them, and your scores were terrible because some of you didn't even read the question. You're like, I'm going to click this, I'm going to click this, I'm going to write 4, and I'm going to move on. This one counts as 10% of your grade. 10% of your grade is homework, 10% of your grade is this district assessment, and 80% are these quizzes and tests and exit cards that you have in here. So, that 10% thing should concern you. You should make efforts to do well on them. But some of it is on those power functions. So the point of yesterday was to give you feedback on this is what these things are like. We'll go over that a little bit more today, but there will be a real exit card tomorrow that will be like one of them. I will pick some A value, some exponent, and you need to be able to tell me all this stuff about it. Yes?
Do you know when the district test?
We are allowed to give you that test at any point. We are not ready. We haven't covered all the material. We are starting to get into the heat of what that material is on. So this is why I'm talking about the district assessment now. Like the first packet, all those piecewise stuff and properties, domain and range, that's the vocabulary that we're going to use. And largely in this unit on rational functions. Yeah.
Is there a new Delta math? Or is that
Oh, sorry, that's yesterday. There's a worksheet for today. Sorry, I didn't update the board. Yeah.
Does that mean that there's no more math testing?
Math testing is Maryland State versus Montgomery County.
Oh, okay.
You're still gonna have the math testing. I don't know that they're doing it every year. It used to be like 3rd grade, 6th grade, 9th grade, but with COVID, they were like, we wanna know every year where people stand. So I don't know what the deal is. I'll have to ask Miss Young. I apologize. But anyway, you guys should have a notebook out.
Morning.
You're late.
I know.
You should have a notebook out, label it with the date, and today we're gonna do some factoring. We will also review what's on your exit card tomorrow, the real exit card.
Have to, because at the beginning of the year you said that I can't just go to the bathroom anymore, so now I always have to go to the bathroom right before class just in case I'll need to go later and I wouldn't be allowed to.
Yeah, exactly.
That is why I'm always leaving. Pencil.
Okay. And some of you did not do the Delta Math homework last night. You should be doing the homework. You didn't do last night. Ciela, put the Chromebook away. Trey, how do I do this first problem?
Foil.
Okay, FOIL is a metal wrapper. How do I do this binomial expansion?
So, you multiply it like each value.
First
Like,
times
yeah.
first,
X times X.
which
Then,
is?
X squared. Then it's X times 7, which is X plus X7, or 7X, minus 6X, minus 42.
Hey, Emmanuel, how do I combine like terms in this?
You add all the x.
Okay, what do I get?
You get just x.
So that's the answer?
No, oh no. X squared plus x minus 42.
Okay, so the reason we're doing this is going forward is always easier than going backwards. You guys can mostly multiply. And this is a reminder that we're gonna have to look at this and factor it. That was what part of the Delta Math was yesterday. No, the Chromebook away. Trying to do that now or some other thing now is not okay. Ciela, how do I multiply this one out? I've got 3 pieces, what do I do?
You just give it the 5 to
So you wanna give the 5 to this? Do I distribute the 5 to this one too?
No.
Okay. I'm doing 5 times 2 times 3. Is it 5 times 2 and 5 times 3? No.
No, you do that because you have parentheses.
5 times 2? No, I have no parentheses here.
Oh, not here.
So I'm gonna multiply left to right. 5 times 2 is 10, times 3, and get 30. So, you need to do that? So there are choices, but see, I'm worried if we distribute the 5 first, that you guys are gonna wanna distribute the 5 to the other group as well. And we only distribute once. But it's valid to do what you just said. Okay, so we get there. Clara, what do we do now?
we distribute an X and
Okay, well, first times first, what's 10x times x?
X squared.
10x squared. Outside times outside. 40x. Better than negative 15 times x? And you guys do that one, 15 times 4?
60.
Okay, good. Ahmed, combining things, what do I get now?
35x. X squared.
Okay. All right. I recommend, like, when you're doing these, because some people, like, they say FOIL, but you don't know what FOIL stands for. First times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, last times last. In my calculus class last year, they had to, on the AP exam, do this. Do you guys know how to do, like, how to expand the process? Okay, what do we do?
Distribute x squared.
Okay, this guy, what Nell just said and Clara was trying to get to, that guy gets distributed or multiplied to everyone. And then you need to go this guy to everybody. And then we need to do the last guy to everybody. And this was a mess and gross. I mean, that's even gross for AP. They don't normally do something horrible like that. But some of my students were like, foil broke down. Because outsides, there were now like squishy middles, they didn't know what to do. But that's, I do it with rainbow math. That's what my kids call it. Because you do the arrow to each dude for each term. That's what we're doing. You guys should not have to deal with that. But just giving you the heads up. Khalil, how do I do C? This one.
X times x,
Which is,
x squared, and then x times negative 4 equals negative 4x, and 4 times x, and then 4 times negative x, which is negative 16.
said it wrong, but you did it right. Okay, combining things, Rebecca, what do I get?
X squared over x.
Negative 4x, positive 4x goes away. So difference of perfect squares, evidently, Algebra 2 last year, they gave you the multiplication patterns. We're not giving them to you, by the way. That ship has sailed. You need to be able to factor without any little cliff notes. Can anyone factor this one or multiply this one out without expanding? Magda's looking like she wants to take the challenge. Yes, no? No? Okay?
9x squared minus 15x minus 15x plus 25.
Okay. So, first of all, if you can't just do it in your head, please don't. Write it out. First times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, last times last. Some people look at this, those of us who like math. Sir.
Crazy.
Square this one. Square that one. Then multiply those two together and double it. I'll take that tray. So, there we are. Multiply. All good. Yay. Okay, so. So the rest of today, third period really wanted to do a lot more of these, because I told them they were gonna have a real Lexicard on them tomorrow. Okay, I do want to, like, make sure that you guys are good for those. But I do want to get to the factoring as well. So, can you guys do this one? All I'm asking you to do is make a sketch. What does it look like? You don't get to use it on the quiz, no.
Do we have to move it?
You need to know how it works.
You already know.
I found out. I'm just starting.
You were like, okay, how's that feel like that?
If you can draw the picture correctly, you got it all.
So, that's a, even over odd, and it's small. Okay, even over odd.
I don't even know if I'm
It's gonna be very small. Yeah, so let's try that.
I thought it was this one. Or it
I
could be
just
this
didn't
one.
like memorize it.
No, I have to memorize that
I'm
too,
gonna look.
like, I'm not.
I already have this sheet, I don't have the packet anymore, it is posted online.
Yeah, I don't know that. But even in the option, just like straight up.
Okay, I gave an extra.
Yeah, it goes like that. Miss Pascal, quick question.
Yeah?
Could you look at this real quick and see if I should have been C?
Just like,
Okay, so at least one person was absent for largely all of this. So, we had an exploration where you guys were supposed to like type things in on Desmos and look at them, and they were all things, y equals x to some freaky weird power. So first question is that exponent less than 0? No, because it's not negative. Is it between 0 and 1? Yes. So, someone in last period was like, how do I know? I'm like, all right, well, you have 842 apples to give to 1,711 people. Does everybody get an apple? No. So it's between 0 and 1. You get a piece of an apple. You get a fraction of an apple. Okay. Do you know what square root looks like? The graph, what's it look like?
Square root.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. It's awkward to be like, does this? So any graph that has an exponent between 0 and 1 is gonna look like that in quadrant 1. Okay? All of them, no matter what. Next question, does it have a left side or not? Martha, how do I tell if it has a left side?
Because on the example, when it was even over odd.
Okay, so some of you are memorizing the patterns that are in the packet, which I hate the idea of memorizing, but if you have it memorized, fine. The amount of math that I know is very, very small. The amount that I understand and can create is freaking huge. So here, like, I don't know, I picked these numbers randomly. So I'm gonna test -1 on this side. What is -1 to the 842? Positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So +1 to the 1/1711, what times itself 1,711 times is +1? +1. So that coordinate's gonna be there, okay? So the function's gonna look like that. So all I asked you to do was sketch it. But now that it's sketched, what's the domain? All reals. What's the range? 0 to infinity, including 0. What's the concavity over here?
Yeah.
Down. What's the left end behavior?
Going to negative.
Positive infinity or negative infinity?
Positive.
Positive. Okay? All right. So for the sake of our absent friend. Oh, changing the exponent. Boop. All right, now, is the exponent between 0 and 1 still? No. Is it greater than 1? No, it's negative, so it's less than 0. So I'm not sure he knows what these look like. What does the parent function y equals 1/x look like? And it's that. Okay. But to see if it has a left side, I'm gonna do the same test. -1 to the, okay, negative 842. That negative exponent just means it's in the denominator. So negative 1 to the 842, isn't that still positive 1? Okay, and positive 1 to the 1,711 power, still 1, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's gonna have that coordinate. Oh, this one's weird though. Conchetta, what's the domain? It's not all
zero,
reals.
negative infinity to 0, and then 0 to
Okay, Danny, what's the range?
Same thing, negative.
Do I have negative y values?
Oh, no, you're
No. So it looks
not.
like,
0 to infinity.
do I include 0 or not?
Yes. No.
It does not hit. It gets really, 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 really small, but doesn't hit. Okay. Fernando, the, left end behavior?
Close to 0.
Emma, concave up, concave down?
For the blue.
For the blue. Oh,
Well,
sorry,
either concave
green.
up.
For either, right? Both of them, it's gonna be concave up. So how do you guys, what do you think? Yep,
I still don't understand what happened to the negative.
the negative. Negative exponents, what's 3 to the negative 1? It means it's in the wrong part of the fraction. Move it downstairs. So this guy became y equals 1 over x to the 842 over 1711. All right. Okay. There was one other thing. If I turn that whole thing upside down, Mache, is that exponent now greater than 0? Is it between 0 and 1 or greater than 1? It's greater than, okay, and it's bigger than 1. If I have 1,711 apples to share with 842 people, everybody gets an apple and a little bit more because you guys just love your apples. Okay, so, Ahmed, anything that's bigger than 1 is gonna look like x squared in this quadrant. All right. Valentina, how do I test to see if I have a left side? Plug in negative 1. So negative 1 to the 1,711. Still negative 1? All right. Emmanuel? Negative 1. What times itself? 842 times gives you negative 1. Ellie wants to tell you. What is it? You can't do it. Nothing times itself an even number of times gives you negative 1. So this is the graph. You're done. Period. Over. Domain 0 to infinity, including 0. Range 0 to infinity, including 0. Fernando, can you put the Chromebook away? Thank you. All right, so that's your refresher and reminder. Okay? Like, identify, is that exponent less than 0, between 0 and 1, or greater than 0? And then test negative 1 to see if you have a left side, and if you do, is it up here or is it down here? If it's down here, whoops, it's gonna go like that. If it's up here, it's gonna do that. And if you don't have one, it's undefined, like in this case, it's just a pink. Okay. We need to move on. So you will get a real exit card tomorrow. I will give you one function, one exponent. It's gonna be crazy numbers. You will expect to see a fraction, no matter what, that exponent's gonna be a fraction. And just because it's a fraction doesn't mean it's less than 1. Okay, try factoring these things. What does GCF stand for? Greatest common factor, what does that mean? Sophie, what does it mean? What does greatest common factor mean? The biggest number and variables that you can divide out of everybody nicely. Yeah, okay. So try those, write them down.
First one's 5.
Okay. Is there, I mean, we want you to fully factor, so.
Yeah, and I lost my glasses. And you guys
If 5 comes out, what's left behind? I want the factor. Can,
Plus
is,
10.
is there a,
I was in denial.
no? We divide, because this 5 is multiplying outside, so we're gonna divide each piece inside. By that 5.
So it'll be 1x plus 3x. 1x squared plus 3x.
Okay, is the greatest common factor 5? Jack, what do you think? Are there any variables that are also in common?
So it would be just 5x and then x plus 3.
So that we're factoring out, factors are things that multiply together. Factoring out really means I'm dividing each of those guys by 5x. So Monty, 5x squared divided by 5x? Just x, and that's what's left inside. Nava, 15x divided by 5x? 3. And the nice thing of factoring, you can check yourself to see if you got it right. Well, when I multiply by out, 5x times x, 5x squared. Oh, it's the same thing, so this is factor. Va bene? Okay. Fernando, how do I factor the second one? It's a freaking mess.
The second one?
Yeah. B. Is there a number that comes out of everybody? They're saying 2 comes out of everybody.
2x squared.
2 comes out of 2, 2 comes out of 8, so I agree. And Emery says x squared.
Because it doesn't come out with a y.
Okay. So 2x squared and y squared divide out of everybody evenly. 2 divided by 2, okay, that's done. X to the 4th divided by x to the 2nd leaves an x to the 2nd inside. Y squared divided by y squared is not 0, it's 1. 8 divided by 2 is 4. X squared divided by x squared is 1. Y cubed divided by y squared is y. Right? Okay with those? Hi Trey, how you doing? You look thrilled. Roar. Oh, I know. Okay. Bring it, try factoring that. And the homework tonight is this worksheet, which I will hand out now, but I want to see that we can do these guys first. It's homework. It's not really optional, so I want to ask you if you want it.
Oh, sorry. Must have misunderstood a little bit there.
Oh, you have to divide the 9
So what? Oh, 11. Say it like you mean it.
I think it's negative 11.
Yeah.
Is the only way it can't be factors if they don't have a common divider?
There's lots of things that.
Could that be one of them?
11. They both factor.
No, but I'm saying it says on the homework if they don't factor right prime.
Yes.
An example of that would be if they didn't have a common divider.
Because none of these have a greatest common factor. But then, 51 is like one of my favorite numbers. It's like it's one, but it's not.
So that would be, okay.
So in this one, the greatest thing that comes out of everybody is just a one, so, but it's still factors. And this is algebra 1, people. When this front number is a 1, the way we factor, what are two numbers that multiply to be negative 22? Well, that's 22 and 1, 11 and 2, and then I don't have any other options. But I wanted it to multiply to be negative, and I wanted those two numbers to add to be negative 9. So negative 11 and positive 2. So x, negative 11, positive 2. Abraham, ringing any bells?
Yeah, I didn't think about doing one. That's pretty smart of you. I didn't realize that would have been a possible one.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything, because I put the x plus 2 at the start. Is that fine?
I think you just get the same result.
Okay, it's called commutative. Is multiplication commutative? Is 5 times 3 the same as 3 times 5?
Yes.
No, I'm not gonna get like points off because I didn't have
No.
the right.
No, not at all.
You get the same result.
Okay, but 51, people were like, I don't know what multiplies to be 51. What is it?
17 and 3.
17 and 3. It's my favorite not prime sneaky, looks like a prime number.
Whoa.
Math teachers have those. Back off, Trey. Like, psh. But if you don't see that, first of all, is it divisible by 2? No, it's not even. Is it divisible by 3? Do you guys know the quick way to check?
Yeah, you had it.
If you add the two numbers, 5 plus 1 is 6. Is 6 divisible by 3? Yes. So 51 is divisible by 3.
Quick maths.
Quick maths.
Big shot.
So then, like, if Emilio knew the numbers, but if you can figure out that it's 3, a good guess of what the other one is, is that, that adds to 20.
7 minutes or something.
Okay,
He's my idol.
so guys, evidently, Algebra 2, they gave you these patterns. We are not giving them to you. They're gone. You need to be able to figure them out. How did we factor x squared minus 64? Yeah?
Plus 8 minus 8.
Okay, as factors,
X plus 8, x minus.
square root of the first one in the first place of each. Square root of the second one in the second place of each. What's the square root of 64? 8. And then we mix and match the signs. Positive and negative, or negative and a positive. I tend to put the negative second, and I'll show you why.
Is B 3 and 7?
Sort of. Is B 3 and 7. There's letters attached to them. What is the square root of 9x squared?
3x.
3x. 3x and 3x. What is the square root of 49w squared?
7w.
7w. Don't lose the letters. What signs go between the things?
Plus.
Plus and minus. Okay, and I just said, I always preferentially put the minus second because of this kind of problem. Is x to the 4th, Alex, is x to the 4th a perfect square? Yeah? So what's the square root of x to the 4th? X squared. What's the square root of 1? 1 and 1. And then plus and minus. Oh my goodness. So here, x squared plus 1, is this a perfect square? Oh, so I gotta do it again. X, 1, 1, plus, minus. So Marta, it doesn't work with positives, but difference of perfect squares, I always put the minus on the second one, cause in case it cascades and makes little babies, if it makes babies, I keep on going. And we get, Monty, I lost you, what's up? Okay, do you agree perfect square, and a subtraction between them? Alex told us the square root of x to the fourth is x squared, so x squared, square root of 1, square root of 1. Can we factor this? Is it a perfect square and a subtraction? I can do it again. And this is pre-calculus, they might do this to you. Yeah?
Why don't you do it to both, like why isn't it like 4?
Okay, perfect squares, difference of perfect squares, difference is subtract. Then it's added, that doesn't work.
Okay.
And the warm-up that we did, when we multiplied x plus 4 times x minus 4, I got x squared minus 16. There is no way to get an x squared plus 16. Okay. So, I'd like you guys to try the worksheet. They are a mix of problems.
Yeah, put that.
And if there's something that you think cannot be factored,
Wait, that one or this one?
the worksheet, try the worksheet. There is a possibility that some of them are prime. Prime means it doesn't factor.
How much chocolate do I get if I can get the first 2 correct? I get 2 for 2.
If you can get all 3, you can have 3.
Wait, so for prime numbers, what will we write on the front?
You would write prime, that it doesn't factor. But I kind of think these do. So Jean, get in, can you do the first 2?
I'm working on it right now, so it would be.
Fernando, can you do the last one?
So B is just fine for B and the last one and C, correct? So it would be 8 and 2. Or
Write it up.
Or this?
Sorry, they're saying they're gonna do the problems on the board for chocolate. But no, I'd like you to do the worksheet. Oh, Ellery, can you do them?
Oh, the ones, oh, okay, I've got the first one.
For chocolate, yeah, she can
Can
do
I write
them.
the first one?
Okay, write the first one. Is that right?
yeah. Because you add this to your negative 8.
Negative 4x, negative 8x, negative 4 is positive 16.
You know, like the Albert Einstein.
Oh, that one's 3. So X.
I mean, both second one. Sometimes I feel like the teachers just
Oh wait, we have to put y squared.
and I started writing down the, my mother is like an biology, I'm like writing it out, and then started writing down the physical formulas, and it's like,
Fernando, what's wrong with your parentheses?
What's wrong with my what?
Parentheses got a bit long.
I wrote it. I was doubting myself too. I was like,
You're missing something.
The y's.